Yes, welcome everyone. If you are watching live, that means it's Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, which is always time for the High Noon Hemp Show, or at least for the last 6.5 years or so. We're on various places where you can find us if you want to watch or share or whatnot. Check out X at Hemptations. Also, of course, on YouTube, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel and the Hemptations Beach Facebook page. Like, share, comment, all of that good stuff. I'm Stoner Jesus. I do various things on the interwebs, which you can search if you feel like it. He is Beach right there, and he loves hemp. Beach, how are things this week in the world of temptations?
Feels like spring.
It does.
Feels like we should be putting hemp seeds into the soil, but we cannot jump that gun just yet. But good enough, So it makes good, just environmental wise. So, remember, folks, welcome. Remember that welcome to the High Noon Hemp Show. It's true. It's high noon. It's Wednesday. It's time to learn about hemp. Find out what's going on about hemp, because that's what we do here on the High Noon Hemp Show. Remember this, though. The FDA has not evaluated the show for safety or efficacy. That being said, Stoner, do you know what today is as well?
It's a very special day. It's always a very special day when the High Noon Hemp Show is on, of course. But what other day is it, Beach?
Hemp Day!
Sweeping the nation.
Every High Noon Hemp Show is on Hemp Day! That being said, let's put our peace signs to our chests and do our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted. One seed under the sun with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. That's right. Everybody should have an opportunity to be responsible, sustainable, and thrivable.
Indeed.
We can believe in that. All right. Well, let's get on with the product spotlight. This week's product spotlight, 4 from the store, 1 from my door, and sometimes more, is all more.
Wrong one.
Whoops.
This is the one.
Everything on today's product spotlight is on the eBay page. I don't know what that means, page, but that is, if you're on eBay, you go to eBay. It's scrolling on the bottom there, but it's ERB Son of Ma, M-A, SONOFMA. That's my handle, I guess you want to call it, on eBay.
That's what the kids say.
It is cool. The kids do say it.
Yes.
But this hat is a Hempstar Greenpeace leaf hat. And so I'm going to be listing more different color hemp peace leaf. That's what I call that, the peace leaf. Hemp peace leaf. But really well-made hats either way. So you can either come in and have your choice of colors, or the green one is up right now on eBay. And again, hopefully I'll be listing more and more of those as I move more towards getting product on eBay for sale. The next one is one that I sold 2 of just last week, and then had an inquiry about another one. So we shipped one of these to Florida, shipped one of these to California. And then I had questions. Someone actually tried to bid on the low bid, which again, they're cheap. It was like $15. This was a $45 shirt in the store originally. And I have so many of these because I bought so much stock at one point that it's on eBay for $15 plus shipping. And again, different sizes. It is men's sizing, so everyone knows. But this is the Canadian Hemp Company short sleeve, and I have other colors of this. And then I had the long sleeves on for a minute, and I'll be getting those back on soon as well. The next one's one you see a version of every week, but this is the 3D printed Green Springs technology pen with a gold accessory color so to speak. Now, I noticed that this was the only one I had. Now, we also have like a chrome and kind of a slate, and so I'll get those back on eBay. I know I sold a couple of these on eBay. And so if you're a pen person or you know a pen person and you want to get a pen that is 100% unique pretty much to the world, like these Green Springs Technology pens are literally one of a kind. I do not know of any other company that is making a hemp pen. Now they do both 3D 3D printing, and then they also do injection molding, which just shows that you can do either when you're working to make a hemp composite as well. So, again, you're going to see another one of those shortly. The last one from the store, or that is also listed on eBay, are the Greenco pre-roll containers. And again, if you really like your pre-rolls, obviously you can come in and buy them at one at a time. And there are other colors. We also have a blue, and I want to say like an orangish color as well. And I'll have to get, and I think I've sold a couple of these lots where I had all 5 colors in a lot. And I've sold a couple of these on eBay, so I need to get those relisted as well. But again, if you like your pre-rolls, or maybe pre-rolls is something you do, you can add these to the benefit of where you put your pre-roll. Again, one of the bigger cannabis companies in the world has switched over to using a hemp composite container for their pre-rolls. And so at the very least, trying to move towards a conscious planet when it comes to these products. So there you have it. 4 from the store and eBay. Now, the one from my door is one I have definitely been using more and more. And, as it says, size matters not. It may be small, but it is super effective. And that is my lip balm. And this is the grape flavored that we had for a while that I really like. And again, my lips, I'm super dehydrated, and I do my best to consume as much water as I can, but still right now just super dehydrated. And so it's been highly effective at keeping my lips moist when I need it. So there you have it. Here on the High Noon Hemp Show, the product spotlight. 4 from the store, 1 from my door.
Indeed.
Here today.
As always, to the beachwear segment. As you know, Beach has set and holds many world records when it comes to hemp clothing, hemp products, all of that stuff. We like to make fun of the Guinness World Records because they completely ignore me tagging them in things. They don't seem to care. And every week, I will go to their Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and see what's so important to them that they can ignore hemp. And this is the last thing they tweet. I took this screenshot like an hour ago. U.S. town makes largest wedding cookie table with over 1,300 plates and 88,000 cookies. Last thing they tweeted. You see it there. It's very impressive, but I mean, how it's 88,000 cookies. I get it. It's a lot of cookies.
It's a lot of cookies. That's true.
It's a big table. I guess they're all connected. That's what makes it a cookie table. I don't know. I didn't know cookie tables were a thing, but I guess it's one big table with cookies on it.
I had no idea.
That's what they're worried about. That's what they're working on today. So
yeah.
Good for them. What we're working on today is the beachwear segment, where I ask Beach a very simple question. What are you wearing, Beach?
It's true. You're curious. And I will have to say, I want to preface this by, I guess we can maybe beat this by doing 88,001 hemp cookies.
There you go.
And also using like hemp tablecloths. We can maybe break a record that way.
Let's start cooking now. I don't know how long that's going to take, but we get started.
Let's start cooking now.
It's a lot of cookies.
Shipping those cookies in by the truckload, tractor trailer load. That's right. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? It is another Kentucky Wednesday, so the Kentucky Wildcats basketball team plays today. So I'm trying to give that a little blue support as much as I can. My hat is actually a head case hat. It says 100% hemp Kentucky on it, made by a Wildcat fan. My hoodie is my Dash Hemp hoodie, which I showed. I think I wore this last week because it was a Kentucky Wildcat Wednesday, possibly. Underneath that, we've got an Ono Hemptations University T-shirt. My pants are possibly a pair of pants that have never been seen, or I just recently may have worn them, because I feel like I've been finding a lot of my Pan World Traders clothing, which is who made these pants. Pan World Trader is like a really old company. And so I may have just recently worn these, and that's why it's in my head. But those are Pan World Trader. And Pan World Trader hasn't existed for probably 20 years. In the pocket there, as I said earlier, is my Green Springs Technology pen. I think that's the very pen that is from the eBay listing. It even has the gold trim. If I've got a pocket, I've got a pen. I've got a hemp pen. I mean, again, that's to be some Guinness Book of World Records. Although I don't know how I could physically prove that I've had a hemp pen in my pocket for I don't know how many days, probably, but anyway. Underneath it all, a pair of Hemptopia boxer briefs. Yet another pair of Kind hemp socks. I do have the Kind hemp socks in just about every color that they made them in before. I don't know that they still offer those. I know they still offer a couple colors online. And again, that's Kind, Kind, hemp. And then on my feet there are my Rackle shoes, which are also semi-unique to the hemp shoe world. I think, everybody's seen most of the Adidas that I have. I have a picture somewhere, and I'll have to dig that picture up of just my Adidas shoes and hats, I think, that I have. But anyway, that's for another day. That's for another Guinness Book of World Records. On top, if you're new to the show, I've mentioned before, I have set the record for wearing a different hemp shirt every day for 168 days. No, 190 something days. And I have set the record for different hemp hats for 168 days in a row. And I have somewhat documented that because I do have a picture somewhere of all the hats. And I do have a picture somewhere of at least the closet showing all of the shirts.
Maybe the next time you set one of those records, do like a 5-second video every day.
Yeah,
Post it.
That's what I'm going to do. And I am going to, and I've discussed it. And the next record that I am going to set is going to be a different hemp outfit from head to toe. So we're going to see how many days that. It's going to be difficult to get past too many days because I only have so many pairs of. I'm going to think what's really going to hold me back the most is probably my underwear, because I just don't have. But that being said, I mean, I guess if I go without them, technically it's still a different hemp outfit. So I mean,
Commando's an outfit.
I mean, does that, I don't think that takes away from the outfit in any way. Maybe I could go ahead and start adding, when I take away the necklace, maybe start adding, or take away the underwear and start adding my necklaces that are made out of hemp. That's part of an outfit, I think. So anyway, but that is the next goal. And you are correct. What I'm going to do is at least document with a picture.
Yeah. We'll post it and we'll tag Guinness World Records every single day. They're going to see every single day of the evolution and the progression all the way through to whatever it is.
That's going to be it. That's going to be it for the next one. So we'll see, folks. We'll see. All right. Let's get on with the rest of it, let's do. I think this is the third in the series of um, Triple Beach
Nice.
commercials. I think it is. I'm not positive because I couldn't tell for sure, but we'll see what happens. But here's a commercial, and then we'll be back with the news.
Hemptations celebrates our anniversary with a store-wide sale. Get into Hemptations between September 1st and Labor Day and let us reward you for being so great to us for 20 years plus. Everything for 20% off or higher. Hemptations has the largest selection of hemp and a great selection of vapes and such. All because of you, the customer. Get into any one of the locations and save September 1st through Labor Day. All the info at hemptations.com. Having Hemptations for 20 years.
Boy, the people hoping for the triple beach, they're very disappointed right now. And you are muted for some reason, Beach, on your end.
You turned it off, and then but anyway, no, I am just as disappointed as everyone else.
Right.
Obviously, I picked wrong. I promise next week I will find. I know I did the interrogation one, and I did the news one, and so that leaves the professor one, the school one. And so I will find it. I'll make sure and get it. That was kind of a fun commercial anyway, but little mistimed. It's like probably like exactly 6 months from our anniversary. Somehow, if I look at it, in fact, we are, because Saturday is the first, and that will be exactly 6 months to September 1st. I believe if my math is right. I don't know if that all works out, but anyway. Okay, folks, let's get on with some news. Let's see what's going on in the old hemp world around the world. Although I think it's mostly in the United States of America. This episode. So Florida again is now. I thought they had all their stuff settled when it came to hemp, but apparently not. Now, the governor came out against the legalization in the last election, and he was really kind of behind all the hemp. He was kind of saying, the reason is because I support the hemp industry here in the state. But they're now going back to, and I thought they had passed some of these already. They're going back to they want to go to a 2 milligram per piece. Okay. Is that doing that because I'm doing that? Is that like reacting to me?
Mm-hmm.
2 milligrams per. Actually, guys, I really want to go down. I want a downward thumb for this stuff. 2 milligrams per 20 milligrams per package. And again, I cannot say how dumb this is in the restrictions of it all, because, I mean, this just forces someone to have more of something to get what they want when they shouldn't have to. So, when to get my 20 milligrams of THC, you're going to have to eat a whole package, which just means you just buy 5 packages. Again, it's just so ridiculously dumb in theory to have these milligram restrictions. I mean, you want to say maybe 10 milligrams per piece? I could argue might be okay. 20 milligrams per piece, I might be able to see how that would be all right, because again, that's the industry is already used to making products like that. But 2 milligrams is just crazy, and then the 20 milligrams per package just means you have to buy more packaging. And at the very least, to me, that's just waste. It's just stupid. No gas stations, and I just think and I'm just so against this no gas station thing. Okay, again, I really am. I mean, do I want gas stations to be selling crappy products? No. But if a gas station can get a liquor license and sell alcohol, or a tobacco license and sell cigarettes, and they're carding people, again, age restriction I'm okay with. Make it 21 if you feel like you need to. And then make sure that the people at the gas station are carding people for the products. But it just seems it almost seems racist. And not like, and I'm not trying to relate it to racism equated to um, people of different colored skin as much. Um, it's definitely anti-consumerism. I mean, it's not fair if these products can be sold anywhere else in the state, but not just specifically not where gas is sold. I mean, you better have you'd have a better ideology or better be able to debate that lighters shouldn't be sold at gas stations. It should be sold everywhere else because gas is sold there. I mean, if you're gonna say you can't sell something because gas is sold there, I can think of better products to restrict. But again, it's just again, it's anti-consumerism. It's definitely, um, you know, uh, I really feel like once again, people if they want to walk up to their corner gas station and get these products, you should be able to. If they want to drive up to their local gas station and get these products, they should be able to. And so, restricting the location, um, it doesn't. Again, it's not prohibiting where they or if they can go and get these products. It's just basically a proximity thing. And so you're hurting the industry by making it harder to get to them, but you can still get to them. It's just so dumb. Again, banning any particular location. I don't care what it is. And again, the gas station thing it really irks me because gas stations are known for selling the worst things for us.
Yeah.
And so if you think this is a bad thing and you're trying to save someone, why keeping it out of the gas station seems like a ridiculous idea. From soda to candy to crap. I mean, there's literally like 98% of the things that they sell at gas stations are wholly not healthy. And then you're telling them they can't sell this product that helps people. I mean, these products are therapeutic. Restricting them from gas stations again, it's just so backwards. It just really makes no sense. And I get it because the religion is, well, it's unregulated and they can do this and they can do that. Yeah, but everything else there is so bad. And again, yeah, it's going to be up to the person selling them to make sure that they're selling a responsible product. I mean, giving the people what they're purchasing and that they're carding if that's what the biggest issue that you have. But it's just so weird. Honestly, I just think it's like it's like I don't know who they're trying to save from these products that help people every day by saying you can't buy it at a gas station. I just again, I mean, if you buy anything non-name brand at a gas station, you're running the risk, I think, of what I mean? Like, we buy food at the gas station. We know nothing about chicken, hot dogs, pizza, all this stuff, all this food at the gas station. And it could make people sick, or kill them.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I think that's fact. Okay, and no intoxicating hemp product has ever killed anyone, ever, because cannabis itself has never killed anyone. There's never been a death certificate ever in the history of medical history ever that wrote down cannabis or marijuana as the reason for the death. Okay, it can't happen. I mean, I think that at one point I saw the amount of cannabis that they were proposing you would have to ingest in a whatever short amount of time that could possibly they didn't even know. I mean, I don't know if they've fed cannabis only to rats or given cannabis to rats for or as much as they can. It's just never happened. Okay. And I want to be clear that the study that the government used to say that cannabis caused brain damage, okay, that study, I think it was called the Scopes Monkey Trials or Scopes Monkey, I don't know, it was something. That's not right. But anyway, um, what they did is they gave cannabis smoke to monkeys only for like 6 minutes at a time. No oxygen, just cannabis smoke. Okay. Well, if you cut off oxygen to the brain for 6 minutes, yes, that causes impairment. They knew that when they were doing the studies. They say, well, we're going to give the monkeys this cannabis smoke only. So this is all they can ingest. Okay. And after 5 or 6 minutes, yes, it caused brain damage. So anyway, let's do a realistic study on cannabis smoking to find out whether it causes brain damage. I don't know. Maybe it does, but I'd sure, I'd like to see legitimate proof. So, and then of course we are going to ban Delta 8 as part of this. You cannot smoke your hemp anymore, no matter what form. I think it is with CBD, CBN. I mean, it would have to be CBD, CBN, CBG. I guess obviously the THCA in there, and I think that's probably what they're kind of going for more than anything with the smoking. And once again, I think they're really worried about the children buying this stuff because I'm pretty sure that they've already passed a packaging ban. Like, and I'm pretty sure in Florida you cannot package hemp, whether it's CBD or THCA or anything, so that it is attractive for kids, like candy packaging or whatever. That's already illegal. And I guess this new bill wants to make sure that that's the case because it mentions it again. And so it's just, I don't know, Florida. Just stop. That's all I can say. So I guess there's a big, huge fashion show called MoMAD. I want to guess it's in France, but I didn't even get that far to see. But I did scroll through it because it's supposed to be, the article was about MoMAD and how they're promoting eco-friendly materials and things, which seems to be the theme of a lot of worldwide fashion shows. Definitely see a lot of emphasis on, eco-friendly fashion. And, it's eco-friendly fashion no one's ever going to wear because none of us can afford it, which I've always thought was just kind of weird about the whole fashion industry to begin with. It's like it's for like 10% of the world that can afford to buy $500 shoes and $1,000 dresses and whatever again. But anyway, so MoMAD this year was on the eco part of it. And they were talking about 15 different companies, and St. James was on. And St. James is huge. I even recognize that name from the fashion world, even though I'm sure that I have never purchased or looked at anything St. James, but I know that that's a big name in the fashion world, and they were emphasizing adding a lot of hemp. And then there was another company, and they were just abbreviations, and maybe this stands for something, and I'm just too old to know. Well, no, IKIKIZ. So IKIKIZ. I don't know if you're supposed to pronounce it. It's all capitals. IKIKIZ, and they were also using hemp in a lot of bit of their fashions. They didn't really show any outfits or anything that were made of hemp, but I'll keep my eye out and see what's really going on there in the fashion world. But it's always good to see how eco-friendly and sustainable fashion is really on the rise, and because of that, hemp is definitely making a comeback or showing its place in that part of the industry, because it does trickle down. It does trickle down to us common people. Article: Best milk And it was just, it wasn't one of those best different milks that had a bunch of different, like, best hemp milk. It was just kind of an article on best milk. So it included dairy milk and the best milks, healthiest milks to drink. And hemp was last but not least, as they said, because it has all 9 essential amino acids. Hemp milk has omega-3 fatty acids and is lower in calories. And it also hemp boasts notable amounts of vitamin E, calcium, iron, zinc, magnesium, potassium, and phosphorus. And so phosphorus sounds bad. It sounds like something we're not supposed to have. But I mean, my brain is saying something about phosphorus like being flammable. I don't know. I have to look into that. Maybe I misspelled it. I don't. But apparently that's good for us. Maybe just in small doses. I don't know. But it does show once again that for a non-dairy milk, you can still get the benefits of that. Um, and that being said, and they brought this up, so I did shoot a picture over of, chances are that Pacific Milk is, if your grocery store carries hemp milk, Pacific is maybe the brand because they are one of the larger ones. Didn't I shoot a picture over of
The
Pacific Milk
Yep,
container? I thought maybe.
there we go.
But the article says that, and I've had this before because there's a company where I could buy it bulk, actually. But the article specifically said that Pacific Milk has the same as cow's milk, is the same in cow's milk as with calcium and protein content, calcium and protein, and it also has an impressive amount of vitamin D. So, you can get the same nutritional values or close to a non-dairy milk with hemp milk. Now, my understanding was, and I have not seen this in practice yet, but my understanding was that we can still call it milk, and this was something I think the FDA changed. So we can still call it milk, but you had to have side by side comparisons of your product to dairy milk. And I don't know if that was 1% or 2% or what, but I believe that's, and so I don't know if that's gone into effect yet. But we'll see. But hemp milk is super easy to make. Just takes whole hemp seed and water for the most part, and then you can throw a little sweetener in there if you want or whatnot. But and there you have it.
Yeah, I was looking up phosphorus. It's a mineral that helps for like bones and teeth and stuff like that.
Okay.
Phosphorus is a very flammable like chemical agent.
Okay. So
Just phosphorus by itself is a good mineral for your teeth and your bones and whatnot.
okay. All right then.
There you go.
There you have it, folks. Always learning. Even when it's not about hemp, we try to teach you things because we believe in science and educating. I always said if I wasn't selling hemp for a living, I'd be a teacher. All right. A nationwide review of hemp is going to be done in New Zealand, and this is all based on, and this is based on the ease of growing or making hemp products, and this all came along because they have, and man, I know why we don't have one of these, and maybe we do in the United States, but apparently in New Zealand they have a red tape hotline. And again, I mean, I laugh, but I love this. Again, this is genius. And so if you are in a business or you're a person who has experienced what we call red tape, getting through things that are super complicated when they shouldn't have to be, more or less, you can report it. And because there's been so many reports on, how difficult and cumbersome it is to grow or even manufacture hemp, and they legalized hemp food in 2017. I really don't know their growing laws. I mean, I assume that they can farm there, and that's part of the confusion. I know they have embraced hemp as a food for a while, and of course, I on the show I've shown a motorcycle that's being made in New Zealand out of hemp composite where they can make it. And so they're really trying to embrace industrial hemp for all its purposes. And so this is kind of you know I would embrace and tell everyone in Ohio to call a red tape hotline about hemp if there was one again. And I would definitely recommend calling um, our Department of Agriculture in Ohio anyway and saying, you make hemp, it's too hard to farm in Ohio, so no one's going to do it, and it's ridiculous. It's too hard to even manufacture for the most part in Ohio, so it's ridiculous. So until you ease up these restrictions, you're going to keep reporting that no one is growing hemp in Ohio or making hemp products in Ohio, um, because it's not worth it when you can go to any of the border states and do it for much cheaper. Even if it is only $1,000, $1,000 is a lot to just grow a crop. $1,000 is a lot just to manufacture a product. That's ridiculous. They don't have to spend $1,000 to grow corn, and they don't have to spend $1,000 to make a pair of jeans. So why should I do that if it's hemp in Ohio? Anyway, so that's I get it, New Zealand, and I hope they get the beneficial results, and they once again ease up on any restrictions that make it hard to do anything in the industrial hemp industry, any industry. And again, if you want to put some asterisk on flour, then put some asterisk on flour, because that's really what, same thing we should do here. If you want to grow for fiber, it should be full steam ahead. You want to grow for food, for grain, full steam ahead. No restrictions. Treat it like every other crop. You don't have to test it. Doesn't make any difference what the THC level is. And, I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, or they decide to change it. Okay. Um, there's not going to be any THC that's found in any of this clothing ever, ever. It's just not going to happen. So there's no way it's ever going to happen. Okay. It's also almost literally impossible. Nothing is impossible, so it's almost impossible to find any THC of any substantial value in the seed. So the food product, fuel, whatever you want to make with that hemp seed oil or that hemp seed doesn't have any THC. So who cares? Doesn't matter. You want to start getting nitpicky with the flour part of it? Whatever. But we're there. The movement for this is strong, and what really irks me is they're not really focusing on this part of the industry in the newest farm bill that they can't agree on, and not because of hemp that they can't agree on it. They want to change once again. They want to morally judge industrial hemp and the changes that they want to make in the new farm bill, but they don't want to make it easier to grow the products that can truly help humanity, feed humanity, clothe humanity, house humanity. Okay. And it's really, in my opinion, this newest farm bill is going to take industrial hemp a step backwards, not forwards as it should go. Okay. You know, We're not in chaos. Just like after almost 30 years of the first legalization of marijuana in any state, 1996 in California. Um, California didn't like go up in flames and break off into the ocean and sink. I mean, it wasn't hell. Did not. It's it's like this is once again proven to be used responsibly in the hands, and it's not unsafe. So stop. You can't make. Just stop trying to make any new laws that are morally based on cannabis. Okay, just stop. All right. What else we got? Um, this is kind of neat. So Inca Renewtech up in Canada, and I've been talking about this. I guess they're listening. They must watch the show because they're actually getting $200,000 to develop composites out of, I guessed it, the waste material of the seed plant. So again, Canada grows 60% of the food product for the United States alone. Okay, on top of what the Canadians eat. At the end of the year, for the most part, they cut that. They go through. They cut that flower and they get that seed. That stock is waste. A lot of those companies were burning it until recently. And so here is yet another company that's saying, hey, we'll take your waste and we'll make car parts out of it. This is something that they're going to work with. They're working with Toyota on this one. And I just mentioned, wasn't sure if Honda or Toyota or any of the Japanese were using hemp, but apparently Toyota is in fact going to um, start using hemp composite. And I guess we have to really kind of call it fiber hemp because this composite is meant to replace fiberglass. Why this is again much like what I've talked about many times that BMW has done and what Mercedes and BMW have been doing for 30, 40 years was making hemp composite plastic-like material, or in this case fiberglass-like material out of hemp. And so not only are they saying it's lighter because it's lighter, but it's also stronger. How about that? And the fact that you're taking the glass aspect out of fiberglass is really saving sand. I don't know if they use the same sand for glass as they use for concrete. But I know there's probably a specific glass, and at this point, it probably has to be mined or dredged or whatnot. I really don't know how that works. Um, I know there was a shortage 20 years ago when the glass blowing aspect of the cannabis world was massive. And like I think it literally, not overnight, but probably within 10 years, 15 years of getting big, it doubled the demand for glass rods in the world, and there was a shortage. And again, glass is made from sand. If you don't know, and once again, I'm sure it's a specific sand. So if we can replace the glass and fiberglass with hemp, why shouldn't we? We just keep growing it. Sustainability is what it should be all about. Good for the Canadians. Again, there's going to be, I think we're going to see it. And of course, we don't grow nearly enough hemp here. We grow a lot of hemp for flour. So I feel like, where is that waste going? Where is that stock going at the end of the year? Because that's these products. We should be using them for that. Which I've said for all of the cannabis world. We probably are growing enough cannabis in the United States to do all the things we should be doing with the stock, building houses, making paper, making clothes and materials. Because once again, and you can't legally do this now. Not that anyone would ever know if one of the larger THC cannabis companies took their stocks, sold them to somebody, and they were run through a decortator, and the fiber and the lignin and the herd, or the shiv as we call it, um, is broken down. Once again, at the end of the day, all those piles of stuff, no one would know or be able to tell that it necessarily came from marijuana. Now, the fiber is going to be short fiber because the plants are short, but there's going to be probably a massive amount of shiv or herd, which is what we use for the hempcrete or animal bedding, make paper, all these things, because the stalk is actually bigger. So I think there's more of that biomass there. But we can be using all this for, once again, end products that would never see an amount of THC to make a difference ever. So something I just came across, and again, because I'm really diving into the hemp paper thing, which I'll talk about a little bit later as well. And so we know that 1 acre of hemp, so they say, this is what the equation we've always made: 1 acre of hemp equals 4 acres of trees. Okay, and then that 1 acre is actually 6 months. These trees are, and the part of this article was 20 to 80 years old. Okay, the tree only contains about 25 to 30% of cellulose, which is what we need to make paper. Okay, and so that has to be removed. And then you have all that other, I don't know what that other waste is. I'm sure it goes to some industry somehow. I don't know. Hemp is 75 to 85% cellulose. So we could find that 85% cellulose hemp and specifically grow it for hemp paper if we really wanted to. And then you only have 15% waste, or product that's non-usable. And so I don't know, I'm sure that there's got to be something that 15% or whatever. And what this also showed is because of that, the amount of water that it takes to process it all. Because basically you do the same thing. You make a slurry, as they call it, of pulp, whether it's the hemp stalk pulp or the tree pulp, and then flatten and dry. Basically, is how it all works when it comes to the paper making process that way. Now, they mentioned how hemp paper does not yellow. It's kind of a natural color to begin with, but it doesn't yellow like wood pulp paper yellows, and it was extremely bad when they were first making wood pulp paper, which was only 100 years ago. 100, probably really just started no more than 150 years ago. Was it starting to get big? And it was probably 100 years ago where it was starting to get really, really big. Because it was also in 1937 where William Randolph Hearst purchased hundreds of millions of acres of trees for wood pulp for his newspapers, where he could dissemitize and use propaganda to make marijuana illegal in the United States. It might have been before that even, who knows. But, once again, that's just showing why we need, that's a whole industry that we need to send in reverse, i.e. stop cutting down trees for paper and make paper out of hemp again like it was for 2,000 years. I mean, You know, if you've watching the show for the first time or a pretty new viewer, I can tell you I've said I don't know how many times when the Chinese invented the paper making process, they were using hemp, and for literally thousands of years, that's where paper was made out of. You know, the original Gutenberg Bibles, which aren't really that even that old, but it was his printing press that was a big deal. But those Bibles, that was all hemp paper. Again, Ben Franklin's newspaper, all the papers, everything, most of the paper made out of hemp. And we need to return to that. Um, so, um, research shows that CBD boosts endurance in mice by reshaping gut bacteria and optimizing muscle function.
Wow.
Now, we're seeing a lot more athletes using CBD. There's no doubt about that. You know, I think that probably pre-workout, post-workout, all workout, obviously has more benefits than we even knew. And so, and again, you can use it topically as far as, you know, that muscle and things like that. But the CBD doesn't make it into the blood system and then through the into the endocannabinoid receptor system and then out to CB1 or CB2, which is how it works scientifically, medically. But once again, I'm sure we're going to see more studies because if this is true, then it's once again huge as an all natural aid to the benefits athletes or just the average person that works out and does those things. And again, our gut is our second brain. Okay, this is my opinion, and the reason that I say that is I've always had gut issues, and I've had gut issues that affected me mentally as well as physically, and so, or I will say that my stress is in my gut. So it's not that but it is what I know about me and what I think is true with a lot of people, and something we're learning more and more about. It's I think we really only started paying attention to the gut, the actual gut, and what it does and how much it does and how important it is to the human body homeostasis. Um, and I reported, and I'm sure I'll report again about how hemp seed is really good for our gut biome, and obviously CBD is good for at least the mouse's gut biome. If it's reshaping gut bacteria in some way, but optimizing muscle function. I think that's pretty big. One way or another. So, I'm sure that human trials will probably be next, or this will just promote and make it easier to promote CBD in the sports world, which we're seeing. I think most major sporting groups, NBA, MLB. I don't know about the NFL. I don't know if the NFL is officially accepting CBD and endorsements or not. But we know that the MMA is they've been on board probably one of the longest because there was such a controversy after a fighter came out after a fight. And he was getting interviewed and he's like hitting the vape pen. They're like, "Hey, what's in your vape pen there?" And he's like, "CBD." And he's like, "I advise every fighter to use CBD," And then he got suspended because it was so new that they thought he was using marijuana.
Yeah.
And then after a month or so, after it all got figured out, and they figured out it wasn't, then they kind of got behind it. And they're like, "Hey, man, if this is not marijuana, and it's going to help our fighters, then we want it. And so they started to kind of embrace CBD. So, um, and I know that NASCAR, if you consider NASCAR sport, and I know you have to be in really good shape and whatnot to drive a car that fast. But and again, we're seeing a lot more sports, and I'll look in to see if the NFL, they may be the only holdout so far that's not um, accepting CBD sponsorships. I know there was going to be a CBD halftime commercial a couple years ago, and it got the. And again, it may be because the NFL hasn't officially said you guys should be using CBD. They're looking into THC because a lot of football players use it for pain relief, and so they should be endorsing CBD for pain relief. 8,000 Kicks. Here's their newest shoe called the Trekker. Now, this is, I've never been a big fan of Kickstarter, but I will have to say that I think these guys, may be the one successful company that I think is legitimate when it comes to Kickstarter stuff. And I'm sure, I don't know enough about it to really say this or that, but and I get it. You want to come up with a great product, and you want to crowdfund it, so to speak, because that's where this came from, was crowdfunding. It's a great idea. I also think that if you want to come up with a great product, and make the great product and sell it to the public. But these guys have done a really good job. Either way, they have the original 8,000 Kicks, what they came out with, and now I think they do have a backpack out there as well. And then they're going to be releasing this one in June. And so water resistant. The soles are recycled material, which is, again, very cool. Super earth friendly. Got a good look to them. I like the tread. I think, these are definitely a little bit more of a hiker, creek walking shoe, especially from a company that has always touted themselves as water resistant, waterproof, whatever. I don't know how they can be waterproof, but either way, the other ones are kind of more of the originals are more of kind of like a runner tread on them. So if you're looking for a new pair of shoes, look into 8,000 Kicks. Again, you might have to go and give them your money now, and then they're supposed to ship around June, they say. All right. Well, we're gonna leave you with some interesting. Again, I love how this seems to be happening more and more too. It seems to be okay. So the Wisconsin governor wants to legalize marijuana. Good on him. I'm sure the Wisconsians love that idea. But then they also want to highly regulate hemp-derived THC. And I'm like, if you're for legalizing marijuana, then just get behind the industrial hemp that's already legal THC movement. Don't make it again. This is that the marijuana industry making it harder on the industrial hemp industry, and this horrid twist of cannabis versus cannabis. It's just so stupid. Before, when it was cannabis versus cannabis, it was really, we want to have this cannabis for this, call it THC, and we want to have this cannabis for this, which is clothing and housing and food and paper and all these things. Okay, and we won that battle. Industrial hemp won that cannabis versus cannabis battle because industrial hemp is legal federally. Okay, and now this other industry, which is legal in I don't know. I know it's over 50% of the states. I know medically it's 75 to 80%. Legally, I bet I'm going to go with two out of three, so 66% of the country. Okay, okay, and then now they want to come at us, and they've been making the money in these states for a long time, and they're just mad at us because we're federally legal, which is what they want. If they would just make it federally legal, maybe they would stop caring about the industrial hemp movement. But we're not even putting a dent. Industrial hemp is not even putting a dent in marijuana as far as money goes. Um, and so, what happens when I do this? I don't know. I don't know how that wire that's working that way. Uh, Sometimes it does stuff. Sometimes it doesn't. So, again, it's just obviously, I have always personally supported the legalization of cannabis for all its uses. Every single one. Okay? Every single one. Don't build a hemp composite gun. It's possible. If you can 3D print a gun, then you can 3D print a hemp gun. Anyway, and so just support the idea of your legal marijuana if you're behind that. But don't pick on the legal industrial hemp industry because we're legal. It's all. And again, sending industrial hemp backwards in any state or federally on any level, it's the wrong move because we need to go forward so much further, not go backwards 10 years. 10 years, basically, is how long industrial hemp has been legal to grow federally in the United States. The 2014 was the first crop year. So we've had basically 10 crop years. Okay. In no way, after 10 crop years of this plant, should we go backwards in any way? Should we try to limit it anymore? I hope in Wisconsin, I'm going to put on my best Wisconsin accent. I don't know if that's a good one or not. I don't know. But I hope that they get their legal marijuana, and I hope that they just leave hemp alone. Hemp for fiber. Wisconsin's one of the best, from my understanding. One of the best states to be growing hemp for fiber. So get behind that, governor. Start growing hemp for fiber again. I think Wisconsin was literally the last state in the United States to grow industrial hemp until 2014 legally. So, open up your hemp market for better things. Don't try to regulate it. And yes, legalize marijuana. Sure, why not? All right, let's get on. Let's not too many events, but April 10th through the 12th, we're getting closer and closer. We're a month away, a little over a month away. You got NOCO out there in Estes Park, Colorado. And again, you can go to NOCO Hemp Expo for more information there. NOCOHempExpo.com. Again, it is the best hemp expo in the entire world when it comes to all things hemp and your availability to learn. It's just, I can't say anything more about it other than it's well worth traveling to. Colorado in April is beautiful. We were hiking in the creeks on one day, and we were hiking up a glacier the next, and so it's just a beautiful place to be one way or another. So, and then to be surrounded by all the hemp, as well you should. July 9th through the 11th, the Hemp Beverage Expo is going to happen in Atlanta. And, again, uh, the hemp beverage industry has blown up overnight. There is no doubt about that. Yes, I got that one on here. Oh, I'm sorry. I did. Thank you for reminding me. My bad. Medical marijuana meetup next Tuesday. Carrick and Spirits in Cincinnati. We still doing 8 to 11? Is that right? Um, but Carrick and Spirits Company, it's open only to the medical marijuana meetup. It is a great movement. Again, first Thursday of every month. I apologize for it not somehow being on my schedule to talk about. I do definitely apologize for that, everyone, because this is a great event every month. And again, I go, kind of represent hemp because it is all things cannabis, including hemp, not
Yes.
just medical marijuana. So yeah, 8 to 11, medical marijuana meetup next Tuesday at Carrican Spirits Company. It's on the east side of Cincinnati. It's kind of in an obscure place, but again, it kind of makes it nice. We have a own parking lot, the whole building to ourselves. It's a super awesome event. Honestly, it happens once a month, and I recommend anyone going and everyone going if you're interested in cannabis in any way. It's just a great group of people, and they're mixed of all kinds of different industries. And the event itself is literally put on by Bonnie, who is a professor at UC who teaches the marijuana class at UC, University of Cincinnati here. And so, I mean, again, it's all about the knowledge. It's not just about the man, we're getting high. It really is. And I have learned and I have taught about hemp at almost every meeting. At some point or another, I learned something about hemp I didn't know, and I educate people on hemp. So, thank you, Bonnie, for reminding me. Sorry, I forgot. I don't know how it didn't make it on my list. I feel so bad. But next Tuesday is that one. Um, July 25th through the 27th is the Stargazers Cannabis Festival here in Ohio, in Waverly, Ohio. Not only, for sure, they're doing an interactive hempcrete workshop. And so, this is something a lot of people really want to learn about and learn how to do. So if you're interested about hempcrete alone, I think the Stargazers will be worth it. And again, there's music. It's 2 or 3 day event, and I am working with the organizers to also add a paper making workshop. So I'm still working on that. It's not been officially verified yet. There you go. But I think that will make it even more of a hemp event, even though it's all things cannabis, embracing all things cannabis. If we get a paper making workshop as well, and I'm going to do my best to make it happen. And then October 3rd through the 5th is a hemp building symposium by the Lower Sioux Indian community out in Minnesota. And again, they are building houses in their community out of hemp or using hempcrete as we speak. And so this year was the first year that they completed some houses, but they actually have a whole facility that they are making and doing things with hempcrete. And I'm almost sure that they're growing their own. As far as I know, they are in fact growing their own hemp for this as well. So if you're anywhere out in the middle of the country, the true Midwest, I should say, Minnesota. I bet Minnesota's pretty beautiful in October. I guess I don't know much about Minnesota. I do know that the hemp maze is usually up and running around this same time. I can't guarantee that, and I will not, and haven't verified that. But normally, the hemp maize is around this time, and it is very. I don't know where it is relative to these guys in Minnesota, but I'm sure that if you were going for one, it would be worth it to check out the other, just to go through a big hemp field. That to me would be pretty cool, and they come up with some really. I've seen some really cool designs that the hemp maze has come up with. All right, well, that's all the events. Haven't seen any questions. My thoughts were thoroughly. We have to change that email to hemptations@me when we can, because I think that gets to me better. Hemptations. If you want to email me a question, email me at hemptations@me.com or ask me through Facebook at Hemptations Beach. Obviously, if you're watching the show on the Jedi Hemp channel on YouTube, you can actually chat with me as the show goes on. I should tell you that at the beginning of the show. Either way. So, thanks everybody for being here for yet another great episode of the High Noon Hemp Show. Reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See y'all next week.